What's going on, people, and welcome to my match recap and player ratings for yesterday's Manchester derby. Man City 4, Manchester United 1. I predicted 2-0 Man City. It ended up a lot worse than that, and I didn't expect us to win, but it's the way you lose the game. And once again, we've embarrassed ourselves. Once again, the standards are just nowhere to be seen that we've been known for in this club's history. It's just embarrassing, and City deserve everything they got. We have no leadership. No one wants to take responsibility. McTominay comes out in the post-match interview and he's acting like he's shocked that the fans think that certain players don't want to play for that club anymore and don't put the effort in. And why is he shocked? You've been doing it for ages. And he's like, that's everyone's entitled to their opinion and that, and he looks uncomfortable with the questioning he's getting in the interview. And if that's the case, don't go and do the interview, because you're absolutely shit. You're absolutely shit, and you think that you're good, and you don't prove it, and you don't back it up. And then you come out with these shitty post-match interviews. He's not the only one that does it. Maguire's done it, Bruno's done it, Shaw's done it. But yesterday, that post-match from McTominay did not help matters either. Ranić, a lot of them are going, and Ranić does it a lot as well, where he's like, the first half was good, we were still in it, which is facts. But I don't care if the end result is by that margin and the manner of which you lose the game. It's like they use playing half a game as an excuse to get out of jail, and it's a joke. It's like having a bunch of clowns in defence. I thought Aaron Wan-Bissaka was terrible yesterday. I thought Maguire was. Lindelof, unfortunately, had a very bad game, and I do like Lindelof, but he was culpable yesterday. Tellez, I thought, was the best of the defence. I'll get into the match ratings in a little bit. But the midfield was poor again. Sancho obviously got the goal and showed little bits of positivity and like he might do something. But other than that, what a shit show. We've got more flops in that team than erectile dysfunction. Like, absolutely shocking. As I said, I didn't think we would win the game, but it's the manner in which you lose. I don't care. Obviously, I do care if we lose, but if we're going to lose, which is the logical thing, you've got to lose with effort but ability and actually just wanting to close people down and press. We brought Lingard and Rashford on, and they looked like they'd been playing 90-plus minutes because they wouldn't sprint and press and close people down. What's the point in coming on as a sub? Bruno, I saw it on the analysis yesterday of Match of the Day. His pressing. He's walking around and just letting people run past him and when he could get to them. McTominay was doing it in the midfield, just letting people run past him when he could get to them. Too many of them doing that, but yet they'll come out after the game and throughout all the week they'll do the winning team pictures in training. Absolute joke of a team. Absolute joke of how the club is run. And I don't see it getting any better until the owners are out, and they could be there for the next 20 years possibly. So, huge problems. It doesn't get any better. It doesn't matter who we get in as a manager. It doesn't matter who we buy as players, because the board won't get the right players in. They prove it time and time again. And they won't give the manager who he wants to get in either. So it doesn't matter who we bring in, because the owners control it, and they created a freak show and a shit show, and it's been like that since Ferguson left. I'm not surprised by the result yesterday, but it's the way in which you get beat. No effort, people giving up, everyone down in tools. I thought De Gea again yesterday was good. His distribution wasn't great at times, I'll admit that, but he still made crucial saves. Could have been about 7-1 without his saves, some of the ones he made. Yet he'll probably get a load of blame and criticism on him. But other than his distribution, what's he supposed to do with all that pressure on shots getting in on his goal because we can't clear our lines? Maguire steps over a clearance at one point. He steps over the ball instead of clearing it, and then they go and score. When he could have cleared it, either put it out for a corner or hoof it up the pitch. He steps over it, and by the time he turns round, the ball's gone. He can't get near it, and they score. It's like having Lurch at the back, and like he's got 0 brain cells. It was an absolute joke yesterday. It's embarrassing. It's not good enough, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But the trouble is, while you're paying these type of players the wages you're paying them, it will continue, and it's only going to get worse. There's too much money in football as it is, and we're one of the worst clubs in the world, if not the worst, for doing that. We've got a higher wage bill than Man City have got, yet you look at the difference, not just in terms of quality, they're quality players, but you watch how they press and work for each other. and go in bunches and packs when they hunt down the ball, and just work rate. And they're on less money than United players, and United players can't even do half of what City are doing, yet they're on astronomical wages. If that's not going to motivate you, and you don't do it for the love of football, we are screwed. Because what's going to motivate you? You need the right characters in the dressing room, and they ain't there. I think Ronaldo would have been sat at home yesterday watching that thinking, that's the final straw for me, I'm out, I'm going. And I don't blame him. He's not been great this year himself. He will be thinking, what have I come back to? This isn't the United I was at once. And I'm surprised it took him this long to realise that, but I think yesterday was the final straw for him. He'll be sat watching that thinking, I'm done. And I don't mean he's going to retire. I think he will leave now and go to another club, wherever that is, because that yesterday was violation. You can accept getting beat as fans. We don't like it, but we can accept it if you lose in a certain manner and you lose with the effort and trying to do stuff. But most of them players down tools yesterday, and it's not good enough. Into the player ratings, David De Gea, I would give him a 7. I thought he made enough good saves to keep the scoreline at what it was. And people will criticise him for the game, but other than his distribution, if they're going to criticise he could do better on certain goals, I disagree with them. Because the amount of pressure that is on his goal all the time, it's an absolute joke. For me, he was man of the match, and I'd give him a 7. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I'd give him a 2. Most of the play, or if not all, came down his side. They targeted him, and they didn't hide it. They wasn't shy about it. Everyone could see it, and they constantly went down his side. He was the first man. He's the first obstacle you got to get past before you can get past Lindelof or Maguire there waiting, who should be there after. But the amount of crosses he let into the box and just 1-2s getting played around him, he couldn't get near it. I actually went in my lineup. I went with Aaron Wan-Bissaka because I thought I preferred Delo, but as a defender, in terms of a fullback or a wing back, whatever you want to call him, I would go more defensive because you're against City to try and just not concede too much. But it didn't work. And I thought he was the worst player on the pitch for us. And a lot of people will argue it was Maguire. I can see that as well. But I think Wan-Bissaka was shocking. Absolutely shocking. Lindelof, a 3. As I said, it was disappointing because he has been very good for us the last few months. But he is at fault for a few of the goals. The one where he came out, missed a header, and then we're open. And the other one where he runs to the sort of Aaron Wan-Bissaka's position and gets caught out of position. So that's 2 off the top of my head that I can remember that he was at fault for. Then the others aren't helping him out either and not covering for him. Maguire tries to cover for that one where he goes to the right back position and he's in no man's land by that point. Then Tellez has to come over and try and help and fill a gap. He can't get there. It was just a shit show. It was embarrassing. And Lindelof, for me, gets a 3. Maguire, I'd give him a 3 as well. The one where he steps over the ball when he could clear it, that would have been a goal denied, but he doesn't. And it was just poor again, pushing people. It's like he's trying to play rugby. Like, absolutely shocking. 3. And that's our captain as well. Terrible. Tellez, I actually thought was the best out of the defence. I'll give him a 4. I don't think he was great, but I think he made the least mistakes and they didn't really target him that much. So for me, I thought he was the best out of the defence, so I'll give him a 4. Fred and McTominay, I'd both give them a 3. McTominay at one point tackled Cancelo near the corner flag, and then you could see him mouthing off and saying like, yeah, get the fuck off and get up or whatever he's saying. Like we're winning the game. He's doing that like we're winning and we're dominating them. It's embarrassing. And then he comes out and does his post-match interview, which makes him look like an even more of a bigger prick. Like, what's with all the false confidence and hard man act when you're getting dominated and treated like a rag doll? It's just a joke. And him and Fred were terrible. 3, both of them. Sancho obviously gets his goal. I thought he started positively, but then got a lack of service with the ball, drifted off into the game. Took his goal well, but then another chance I remember where he skied it, which he should be hitting the target. But by no means the worst player on the pitch yesterday. Just a victim of not having enough creation in the midfield really and getting him the ball. So yeah, 4 for Sancho. Bruno, 3. Complaining and bitching, lots of falling on the floor, acting like he's been sniped. I just thought he's been poor again, and just he's clapping the fans at the end and that, but like, you might as well just walk off into the tunnel, mate, because we're sick of it. Like, just poor. Bruno gets a 3. Pogba, I'd give him a 4. Got the assist for the Sancho goal. But other than that, he went missing again. As I say it all the time with Pogba, for someone that's meant to be of his stature globally, and he's meant to be world class, a lot of people think, he doesn't show up enough, and he's gone missing so much this season. Yes, he was injured for a chunk, but since he's been back, he's gone missing a lot for me. And for someone of his stature and ability, and we know what he can do, he got subbed off, and I don't think he was good yesterday, so... I don't think he was worse than Rashford, who come on, or Lingard, but Pogba, I expect a lot more from him, and he didn't deliver. 4. Elanga, I'd give him a 3. I thought it was a poor game from him. He was at fault for one of the goals because he tried to clear the ball, chip it over someone's head, and he didn't get enough on it, and a goal came from it, so it came from his error. That's what started the move off in terms of the error that led to the goal. And I thought he was poor, to be honest. So probably the worst game I've seen Elanga have. I'd give him a 3. But we got to remember, he's still very young, and I would say that. And hopefully in the future big games like this, he will improve and he will learn from these mistakes. But it wasn't good yesterday. Rashford and Lingard come on, as I said. Didn't show nothing more than anyone else that was on the pitch. Didn't show any fresh legs in that sense. You're meant to be coming on fresh. Didn't want to close down, didn't want to sprint, walking about a lot. The body language was shit as well. I'd give Rashford a 3, and I'd give Lingard a 4. Ranić, for me, I'd give him a 3. Didn't agree with a lot of the lineup he went with. The stuff with Ronaldo seems fishy to me, because I'm hearing that he was injured, but then I'm hearing other people saying that he wasn't injured. The whole thing with Cavani seems to be dictating whether he's going to play or not, rather than being told if he's going to play. He's been given too many options, I believe, from what I'm hearing. And that comes down to the manager as well, because Ferguson wouldn't have allowed that sort of behaviour. He wouldn't be allowing a player to dictate to him whether or not he's up for it. He would be saying, well, I need you. You need to play. I don't agree with the lineup he went with for quite a few of them. And the Cavani and Ronaldo stuff seems very fishy to me, and it's a problem. So, and the game, the style of play, what was it? It was terrible. Other than shit, what was the tactics? It was terrible. So a lot of it has to be on his head as well for me. I'd give Ranić a 3 as well. Man of the match, David De Gea, easily again. I felt sorry for him again, the pressure he was in and under in the game. Yes, his distribution could be better, but look, a lot of the experts, or the so-called experts and ex-players and pundits, will now come out and blame De Gea for a lot of that. And to be honest, it's a joke, because other than his distribution, he can't do anything about them goals. And yet none of, like, the Maguires and the McTominays and Bruno, Fred, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, they won't get the criticism De Gea gets. It's a joke. And I'm not surprised by it anymore, but the fact that people can't open their eyes to it and see what's going on is a joke in itself as well. But the club and the players are an absolute embarrassment to the fans right now. They don't care, though. As long as they make money, they don't care. But you're an absolute bunch of clowns. And as I said at the beginning of the video, more flops and erectile dysfunction. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. We'll be back soon. I'll catch you then.